All right, boys. Yeah, we are 4 weeks in. Everything's good. Yeah, everything feels very, I want to say different, very exciting. Very, lots of mixed emotions, lots of psychological pressure within myself that I'm setting, but I'm just kind of just dropping things and just, letting things be so I can focus mainly just on the psychology. Because I'm 4 weeks in, doing really strong. It's just, I need to look for structure enhancement. I mean, we're looking at it and, man, it's definitely getting to me. Hold up. All right, so I'm gonna make this one with music because I like the way that Rio did it. This is gonna be like a 40-minute playlist of just house music. It's deep house music. Point being, I'm gonna, look back into it. Should be pretty good, volume based, but starting off, I have my notes right here. Topics we're gonna talk about today is, Wednesday trading day. How did I do on Wednesday? What was, just the whole idea of what was happening. A noticing that I made, I'm gonna, continue on with that. Something up with external distractions. Bunch of thoughts I've been dealing with. Reminders, honestly. And then a change that I've been making. And then last part is gonna be really shocking. I know I already talked about it in the chats. If you guessed it, you guessed it. But point being, let's kind of start off with Wednesday trading day. Well, woke up in the morning. It was 5:50 again, like usual. It was around a good time. By the time I fully was up, it was like 6 a.m. Went downstairs, chilled, made myself some, tea or anything. I low-key just chilled downstairs for a bit, drank some water, just chilled, sat there. Nothing too crazy because I just was low-key doing my thing. I was really, just focused on, getting myself, just prepared, awake, good. I think I drank water instead of tea. I haven't done coffee in a minute, so just been really focused on drinking tea. And I only drink coffee if I'm down on sleep. But coming into the day, I was kind of very, I was like, all right, whatever happens. I was like, one thing I was really stressed out about was, not stressed out, but emotional pressure that was kicking in for me was I had 2 trading days left. And I was like, okay, Wednesday and Thursday could be the days I just get knocked out. But damn it, it's whatever though. How that happened to me. And I'm thinking about this, and then 6:15 comes through my time. It's about 9:15. 15 minutes before pre-market or before market open, we hop on the charts and I just start analyzing my things. If I'm not wrong, my whole entire thing of, concepts was really just, straight to the point. This is what I wrote as my concepts from my journal. I said I took my first trade looking for a sell side base engineered liquidity, taps into a 15-minute CIBI, and then a 5-minute order block. So we get a perfect tap into a 5-minute CIBI. And then in a 5-minute order block, that after gets tapped in perfectly, but I didn't place my limits whatsoever. And I just wanted to chase the move slap to sell. I was up like $700, $800, almost $1,000. And price decides to reverse and I, get stopped out. I was like, all right, dang it. I got stopped out. That first trade was a $400 L. I mean, really sucked, but I got my first $400 L. And I was aiming for shorts off of that 15-minute. And then what happened was it taps into a 15-minute busy and then just reverse. So based off of that, realized the distribution leg, next trade was realizing that 15-minute busy gets tapped in. EQ has a really strong reaction, liquidity is taken, price is ready to go. And first percentage forms and it gets inversed after, dropping down to 15-minute, and it gets inversed to be used as longs. Which was where my bias went from short to long, but I really wanted to see first presented hold, which was my goal. and I see price turtle soup, and I'm like, yo, maybe first presented gets, inverse so that we can turtle soup. And now my biggest worry was that first presented. I thought it was an external internal range. Just keep in mind when I say that. Looking at 8:30, looking to 9:30 to 10 a.m. PMI within itself, price taps in perfectly into that 15-minute EQ. Then just price is moving at low resistance liquidity run, tap in and out. Delivery was a 1 hour busy, having a 15-minute busy inside, and price. Since price wanted to tap it and move higher within the range that was made, EQ was right before the busy forms. That kind of whole idea, just structure. I was looking at it and I was like, hey, that's cool. And then I just had my noticings within it. Yeah, that was my first idea of what was going on, And what happened was, instead of really stating what happened, I really just said, for my psychology, I said I was gonna break it down in this video. But I said, well, I broke 2 rules within my risk management. How many trades did I take? And how much did I lose per day? Those 2 rules that I broke was back to back, because the amount of risk I made and placing that second trade was caused the third trade to get go. So it was kind of like a wrecking ball again, as I explained in episode 2. I risked about $900 because I took a third trade, 5 micros, and it just keeps on going up, and I was still holding that short. Third trade, second trade I took with blindness. First trade I took off FOMO. Second trade I took off of anticipation and hope. And then the third trade was just based off of, just crap. I mean, I don't know what to tell you besides the fact that I was absolutely sped with it. So having that whole entire idea, I was looking back at it and I was like, okay, well, I tilted on Wednesday. And I wanted to look back, when was the last time I tilted? And I actually remembered I tilted exactly 2 weeks ago. And exactly 2 weeks ago was literally, October 23rd. And within my journal, give me a minute. Within my journal, October 22nd. This is when I lost my Express. I woke up late this day, and it was the same rules that I had, risking 500, 2 trades only, all this different stuff, and I kind of was just like, F this. But I actually blew the account immediately. I'm gonna point that out. I blew the account immediately with this day, okay? But what I noticed was with this account, I still have them. I blew 1, but I still have the other 3, which are like $100 drawdowns, and it's actually like $90, $80. Point being, that actually threw me off like crazy, because I was like, no way this is happening. I was really butthurt. And then I started to notice basically a lot of different thoughts that was flushing in my head. How badly I just wanted to blow the account. That was a really big toll, because after that I was kind of like I texted everyone. I was like, look what dumbass failed at all the shit he's been practicing. Like, blew 1 account, now there's no more left, only have $80. And Rio texts me, and he's like, dude, like, you did not blow the account. He's like, that's 1 micro win. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, there's no micro wins. And he's like, you didn't blow the account. You didn't, continue going, even though you should have stopped at $500 loss. You didn't continue going until you lost everything. Just all this whole idea of, you held your ground still, even though you almost lost it all. And that really, threw me off, because that takes me back all the way to when I wrote out what was going on, right? I wrote down everything that was going on at around, where was it? October 22nd, this first tilt that I had. And it says week 1 to 2, it's the brain whole idea. Who cares? That's week 1 to 2. I I'm out of that stage. I'm on week 3 to week 4. It says neural pathways are strengthened, so your brain is more strengthened within the idea of what you are looking for. And it also says the one little execution starts to feeling natural. So follow all your rules, and that's follow your rules to trade. That's literally what it is. Follow your rules when you are trading. The one thing I completely forgot was what week 3 and 4, it says tilt still triggers, but you can pause and reset easier. Yeah, he is right. I mean, this whole text is right. I was able to pause and do it. I mean, the reset wasn't like pissed off. It was a reset. I mean, I noticed they didn't blow the account. That was already enough for me. I was like, dang, like, I told Rio later, I was like, dude, like, I straight up was looking for a loss, and I was pissed off about the loss. I was pissed off I didn't understand the structure. I was pissed off on the wrong side of the market. I was chasing a win, and I didn't get the win, so I chased it even longer. But then when I chased it, I didn't lose everything entirely, but then I gave myself one last chance to recover, which is what Thursday was going to be. Not saying that it's a good idea that I left $100 left, but it's a good thing that I've actually kept this account for more than 2 weeks. And you know, that's actually a record for me, that I've been able to keep not one account, but actually 3 accounts for 2 weeks. That's been mind blowing for me. Like, I know it's an eval, but still, usually within 2 weeks it's blown and gone and I reset. I've been holding that risk management that constant, except for today, which was $900 instead of $500, which was, I mean, what am I gonna do? To cry right now and be like, like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, I always think about like payout, which is something I've been just really like passionate for and really strong for. But you know, you can't just aim for a payout when there's one thing that's constantly throwing you off. We'll come back to that. I started talking to this one dude. I've known him before back in the days. It's like March or something. Not back in the days, but you know, back in March. Me and him talked a lot, and I low-key dipped, and I just went ISO. What they did was they had their own Discord cooking up and everything, and he made his own Discord, and I joined it up, and I was like, yo, what's up, boys? Like, how's everyone doing? He's like, yo, what up, G? Point being, me and him were on a call, and we were just kind of talking to him, and he was like, dude, do you have like this all written out? And I was like, yeah, and I was showing, you know, one model that I knew, because I was showing him my strategy of some sort. He goes, oh, interesting, okay. He's like, this is kind of confusing. I was like, no, really, you just gotta do this and that. And I'm like, sitting there. He's like, yeah, like, I guess you gotta do, you know, PDO rate or PDO. Like, it didn't make sense to him. And I was like, okay, whatever. It doesn't make sense to him. But then I was talking to Rio as well. And when Rio and me were talking, he was like, I don't know if that was on call or if that was, where is it? He goes, he points out the week 3 to week 4, which is exactly what I was talking about. He's like, you gotta just pause on them thoughts and come back to reset, which is what happened. And it totally was out of my mind that tilt was supposed to happen. Turn out the music. I hope it's not effing up volume. Point being, I was like, I completely forgot I said that. He goes, well, take the loss, you know, today on the chin because it's protocol for this to occur. He's like, just come back even stronger. And I was like, dude, like, one thing that's really hitting me that I remember talking about the whole time last time when I tilted was it's data. I didn't have emotional hijack to the point where I couldn't control myself. I was able to, you know, still call it. And I go, it's data. We have proof that it's slowly actually working. And he goes, exactly. And I go, the next video, I you know, definitely going to be really hard to talk about, which sucked. I mean, I was supposed to do it on Thursday. I ended up doing it Friday night. Sorry in advance, but, you know, I'm working my way around. Point being, and he goes, I specifically said one thing where I said, I know if I can get through this, it's going to be fine. And he goes, not if, but when you get through it. And I go, yes, exactly when I get through it. And he goes, indeed, bro, never if. He goes, I'm heading to sleep, yada yada. He's like, don't forget a journal. And I was like, I'm gonna, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna do my thing. He's like, you just gotta put your structure in. Texted him yesterday. I go, bro, it's clicking piece by piece. A lot of noticings, my flaws, and I just don't understand like what happened. And he was like, yes, sir. And I was like, dude, like I've been putting together a lot of different sauce, which is not really mine. I wish I could claim it's mine, but it's not mine, it's mentors. And he talks about a bunch of different things, such as rejection block. I had a complete different wrong idea of rejection block. That's one thing. Second thing, order blocks, how to truly utilize them depending on the situation. I used it wrong. How to use your liquidity within your objective. I did that wrong. Daily bias, did that wrong. I did not know how to use Power 3 whatsoever. I thought I knew. I thought I knew Power 3, but the way I used it was completely. Let me just say it one more time. Completely wrong, And I told him, I was like, dude, it's literally, actually being put in together, and I actually know what I need to use, not what I want to use, and maybe add a couple different things. And he goes, yo, like, I told you, gang, like, it's gonna piece everything together a lot more. And it's the same thing I told Rio, and I'm good at giving advice, but I suck at taking my own advice. And he goes, awesome, love it, bro. And I go, yeah, I was doing everything wrong from bias to 930 to like Power 3 and like being able to, and I was like, I'm ready to swing trade now. Like, I can see a lot more, improvement. And I ended up journaling right after. And I wrote less because someone, we're gonna go back to facial. He was like, dude, if it's a loss, he's like, if you know what's up, like write about it and move on, because it's the same way you're gonna write about a win and move on. You shouldn't be so focused on that loss or something. Or you shouldn't be so focused on that win. You gotta write it and move on, write it and move on, write it and move on. You shouldn't be so, but I took a loss. And okay, it's like, but the same thing, you can flip that, but I took a win. Okay, and tomorrow don't guarantee a loss. Tomorrow don't guarantee a win. I mean, tomorrow can guarantee one or the other. Like we can't just say, it's gonna be a win, it's gonna be a loss. Like, it don't really make too much sense. So point being, we see that happening, and I was like, hey, I kind of not published, but I kind of am pretty much done with my model. I'm gonna add like a couple more things that I have to do, but that's kind of later, honestly. I'm not highly focused within it. Yeah, like it hit me really hard. And one thing that I really wish I took notice of, and I really wish I understood this faster. So I was really focused on reading, where is it? Give me a moment. This retard book. I was 4 chapters in. I'll tell you right now. I think it's page 40. I was about 41 pages in. 41 pages out of 200 pages. 1/5 of the book done. But I started to make a noticing, and mom was always like, dude, you gotta read your Bible too. And someone else said it to me, Facial said it to me, and he was like, start focusing on the Word of God. And he's like, use that time that you have focusing on the Word of God. So then trying to focus this at night, and every morning that I'm going to be trading, I'm going to be, utilizing the Word of God. Just been reading Revelation, just, for knowledge and understanding, becoming more wiser within the situation. But like, real talk, I've just been constantly disciplined within my external habits. I know I've been saying I was gonna go on a run, but really, I hate that crap. I'll be so real with you guys. I hate that crap. Yeah, dude, it pissed me off because I was like, hey, like I know I'm supposed to go on a run, but I don't want to. Yeah, dude. I don't know, like, reading the Bible definitely has been helping me out, and just trying to stay close to, the Lord. Even though not always there, but, over time, I know if I keep on, not coming back to Him, but constantly growing with Him. because my whole goal is to, shift over. It's, it's no November, so people are trying to fight themselves. I'm trying to make it no nut, no more type of deal. Yeah, dude, a lot of people focus on that crap, but it's so hot. I don't want to open up the window because it's gonna mess with the audio. But that stuff definitely made a huge different toll for me. Been trying to, defeat that. And one thing that really, really killed me was, I know this is a psychology-based thing, and I'm not trying to convert none of y'all. But point being, Matthew, I want to say chapter 28, verse, no, this is Matthew chapter 8, verse, give me a moment, I gotta find this real quick. Hold up. I'll find it right now. Matthew chapter 5, okay. That's where it is. Matthew chapter 5, verse 28 to 29. Actually, I have it highlighted. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there. It's like all underlined. Maybe you won't see it, maybe you will. Point being, the verse it says, you have heard that it has said to those of old, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you, whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you, for it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than your whole body for it to be casted into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you, for it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than your whole body casted into hell. That's crazy words, saying that your eyes, what's interesting actually? What is a eye considered in biology? What system is it a part of? Biology system. I think it's called, yes, I like this. In biology, an eye is considered a sensory organ that allows organs to produce electron impulses in neurons. Remember neurons? That's like what the brain is. Neurology, neurons. You know what's interesting? It's like as if the eyes connected to the mind, which is a part of the head, because the head has your brain, and the brain is what creates those thoughts within your mind, and that's what your eyes are perceptive to see. And the Bible specifically says, if your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you, because it is more profitable for you to, for you to die, for you to lose your eye than for you to go to hell because of your eye. That's like the best way it says it. Yeah, dude, that I like thought about that verse and I was like, dude, people may say, oh, ladies dress up like they're, this, oh, they're dressing up like that, oh, they're so open. Is it really that, or is it the fact that guys can't control their minds and can't control their eyes and can't control their thoughts, where the Bible also says if you commit adultery, that adultery sorry. When you commit adultery is when your eyes perceive within a woman for lust. So is it really the girl who's doing that, or is it the guy who can't control his eyes and his mind? Yeah, maybe you might be a little tempted to look, but then it depends what your thoughts perceive of it. because you can do whatever you want. You can see whatever you want. You know, your eyes are open. Your eyes will, you know, you will see something bad. But how does your mind process of that? Does it say, "Oh, get away from me," or does it say, "Ooh, what is that?" You know. And the reason why I say that is because let's go back to trading. What happens when your eyes get very interested? Looks at the wrong things. We don't have the right idea in our mind. We look at things wrong. Our eyes perceive things wrong, which is normal, right? You know, we're trading and we see a fair value gap and we're like, hey, it's gonna hold bearish and it holds bullish. What's the reason? Oh, maybe, you know, this happened, that happened, SSMT formed. All these different type of things. Maybe it wasn't part of narrative. Point being, our eyes see something, but it depends how our mind perceives, because our eyes can see anything and there can be meaning within anything. But the way that our mind perceives that certain thing is a huge objective. That's where I went wrong within my freaking trading. I didn't know what a rejection block was correctly. I actually only traded rejection blocks as wicks, not of rejection blocks. Dude, that pissed me off. I genuinely got freaking destroyed, and yeah, dude, when I remade my modeling state, flow state, I like wrote that out too, and I was like, yo, like that PD array does not look like a freaking rejection block. That looks like I know them as wicks, and the way that he marks it out, it was a rejection block, and I was like, yo, like, what the fudge? Like, why have I been trading these wrong my whole life and realized how big of a sped I was, you know? Point being, our mind perceived what our eyes saw incorrectly. That's where I make that connection. It can be towards anything. It's not gonna kill you or, you know, throw you to hell because you're doing it wrong or something. That's not the point. The point is, the Bible also speaks about your eyes and your mind and the way it perceives things. And we can also talk about the, you know, lustful part, but that's just showing the self-control that our mind needs. And you know what that also means? When we see a good setup, how does our mind perceive it? Does it say, oh, we need to hop in? Or does it say, oh, we're missing out? Or does it say, oh, our mind is okay with losing this because this is not a part of our trading plan, a part of the risk management plan, a part of the psychology, part of the strategy? Yeah, it may be a part of the strategy, but does your risk management and psychology follow along? Because you checked one box, but you have two other boxes that don't allow you to check to get into that trade. And our whole one rule idea is follow your rules when you are trading. When you are trading, you can look at the markets and do whatever you want, but when you are trading, follow those rules. Yeah, dude, like that's kind of what really took me out the most. And that's why I've been kind of focusing on the Bible, because the Bible really, you know, loves to connect anything metaphorically, because we can see everything metaphorically, and we love to think about things in different situations to make sense in our mind. I think that's what like the Bible loves to do. And honestly, journaling, I've been doing it consistently. I've been doing it good. I haven't missed a day. I haven't skipped a day. Maybe I've did half, and I know I could have done more, but I just moved on. That's on me. I recognize that a lot. But the micro wins that I'm noticing within those, you know, week 3 to week 4, which it doesn't say focus on micro wins, but I've been noticing that I've been journaling every single day, that I've been, you know, without that phone within the morning, and, you know, just been, you know, trying to, you know, just figure out my mind, just, hey, how are we feeling today type of thing. And if we're not feeling great and we're feeling pissed off, just go back to sleep. Better right here. I'll take sleep now anytime. I could care less about if I make money or lose money in the chart. So that's kind of the whole shift that I've made within my mindset. Yeah, dude, like when I figured I was doing everything wrong within Power of 3, within, you know, my concepts and PD arrays and how liquidity forms and, you know, high resistance and low resistance liquidities, what is it determined to be in? I kind of saw that. I was like, dang. And another big thing was understanding consolidations, reversals, and expansions. Like, what are key things that we need to notice within them, which I also put in that plan. So those whole ideas just all together, just, you know, it's like, you know, you can't just put one finger for it to, you know, fully like hold. Like that one finger is going to, you know, eventually let go. Your whole hand can't grasp on that one finger, but when you have all 5 fingers interlocked within, you know, you have one finger for strategy, one finger for psychology, you have one finger for risk management, then you have one finger within that model, within that, you know, parameters of what time to trade. It all locks in, and, you know, all these little ideas of journaling, back testing, weekly recaps, weekly overviews, how is within, position sizing and, all that different good stuff. When it all interlocks, it's hard to really let go because that foundation is really just strongly together. Yeah, dude, like, honestly, shout out Rio, shout out Eddie, shout out Faisal. Those three homies just been pushing me a ton. So, just keep going. Just, hey, you gotta look back. Wednesday, I was really, really frustrated. I was really pissed off. And I wasn't pissed off because I lost money. Dude, that's the last thing I cared about. I didn't care about the money. I was pissed off because I did it dumbly. I, tilted. I didn't care about the money aspect. I just cared about everything wrong within the strategy that I knew was FOMOing, that I hesitated, and I just didn't place my limits, but I still wanted to enter the trade and catch the trade. And then I looked back at it and I was like, I could have done this. And just this whole idea of just emotions rolling in of, my decision making. And what does that decision making usually come to? My concepts is not aligned with my decision making. Concepts I should have understood is not aligned with my decision making. And the precision, how we perceive things in our mind, I completely perceived a rejection block completely wrong. And I started to look back and I realized I completely percepted a lot of things wrong. So yeah, that was my whole really big idea and thing that really, kicked me in the ass and was like, hey, like you gotta figure all this crap out. Yeah, dude, all that different type of stuff. And it really pissed me off because I'm not really working consistently, but I would have to figure out a way to, make money off of, make money to, continue trading, which the money part really doesn't matter to me because I know if I hold the risk management, it's gonna be good. But I don't know, I'm really debating if I want to mess around with the risk management parameters. But I really like $500, but then I'm realizing whenever my trade setups are wrong, I only really need to risk like $300 or something. So honestly, I'm not gonna always aim for the $500, but I know if it's gonna be invalid if it hits this point. Just so you know, I have more structured concepts and context of an idea. But I was given the chance and opportunity to rewrite everything out, talking about liquidity, all these different categories, which expands and explains what's going on, how to use them. But I've been back testing it and I've just been noticing a lot of different signatures that I just genuinely was getting wrong at, I was forgetting the idea of what Power of Three really, gave us the idea of. I forgot about the manipulation legs and how we can use it to identify our bias, all that good stuff. I mean, I don't know how else to tell you, but that besides the fact that it's just been growing within me entirely. I mean, dude, like I said, my big goal is, get that M3. I got 2 months, 3 weeks left to get that M3. I mean, if I'm doing it correctly, I can do 1 month, strictly focusing on, just rules and everything, which I will be a part of for week 5 to week 8, which would be that kind of, the rest of this month. The rest of next month can be, just slowly stacking up bread. And then the January can just be, throwing in more money and, just doing the thing. It doesn't have to be, within, this week. It doesn't have to be plan according. You just got to look for weekly objectives. And then if your weekly goals start to add up closer to the thing, let it add up. Don't rush the process. Don't let it just, fire at you when you don't know what you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, I've also cleared out SSMTs because I don't really use them within my objective unless we're in extreme premiums and discounts, which is where PD rays aren't active as much. And I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm still using true day opening. I'm not really using true week opening as much. I have it there, but I'm not really anticipating too much on it besides true day opening. Yeah, dude. What other things are really big for me? I'm happy I was able to take 2 days off, Thursday and Friday. I wanted to trade it, but I was like, dude, I have $100 left. Do I really want to trade it without knowing what I'm actually doing when I really had to just look back into my concepts? It was just simple no, no point. So I worked things out and I was like, hey, I could just settle this in. Ooh, wow, it's tired. It's only 10 o'clock and I'm ready to slump. Yeah, dude, I've just been grinding, that whole model. It's not finished, so whatever I send you, Rio, it's not fully finished. yeah, but I've just kind of been adding little things, signature, noticing, just trying to not overcomplicate things, but kind of just, always fall back into the plan. And one more new thing I actually recommended to myself, and I was like, Eddie, I would low-key be down to do this, is to always be humbled and look back into the concepts and understand the origin and how it functions, so that I don't, create and perceive this new idea with my mind and eyes of how a PD array functions and forms, because that's what I did, and it took me down a whole path that I didn't even realize was actually real. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of really it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Everything else has been pretty straight, chilling. Oh yeah, wrote this out again. Until it's done, tell none. That's law. So yeah, I mean, dude, real talk. Had niggas hating on me, because I don't want to hang out with them. Like, I got invited to a sauna night at like yesterday, and I was like, dude, like, I can't do that. I gotta figure out this model. Like, I didn't tell him that. I was just like, hey, like, I don't know if I could be able to come. I got invited to go to gym, and I was like, dude, it's gonna, yeah, I gotta go to gym, but like at the same time, I was like, dude, I need to figure out this trading stuff first, because this trading stuff is more prioritized, and it's not like I'm sitting in this room all day. I'm also, doing other things, walking around, carrying heavy stuff, all these different things. And I know gym is going to be beneficial, but if I'm not going consistently, what benefit does it bring? Personal opinion, don't come and, throw rocks at me for some crap. Just a personal opinion. Blue light blockers. Been the biggest blessing. Sunday morning, Sunday night, I found them. Sunday night. Found them, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's just been helping me focus and helping me, I like take them off, and like, I don't know, just not the same. Like, everything's so like, and I put them on and everything like mellows down, and I'm able just to kind of, like focus within what I'm looking at, instead of all over the place, everything's flying at me, So I'm just kind of, just mellow, calm, loose, and it feels great. I love these. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I just rewrote everything out. Everything's doing a lot better. I'm sometimes kicking it. Like, I had a buddy actually, and this is actually something I want to tell you guys. I had a buddy send me a video today. He put a down payment and he bought an X5M competition. Crazy. 2025? Yeah, the 2025, 2026. I don't know which one, but he bought a brand new X5M competition. Dude, I was shocked. Homie sent me a video and he's like, yo, he sent me paperwork, proof too. Dude, I was like, what the heck? And he was like, yep, he's like, so he's gonna be driving next week. If I catch up with him, I'm gonna send him, I'll send you guys the video. But dude, X5M competition, how crazy is that? I know this one's longer. I just had a lot more to say, and I tried to just speed run through everything. Not rush everything, but just kind of speed run, go at it. I don't want to sit there and yap about something so stupid. Also, last thing I'm gonna kind of finish up with, the group journals. Dude, I could less. I could care less what's going on with the group anymore. Like, I've just kind of just been so self-dialed in, because I focus so much on the group that, my ideas of what PD arrays were just, completely gotten thrown out of the place. Like, I wasn't so focused on learning the market structure and everything. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I've just kind of been like, I could care less. Y'all can encourage whoever you guys want. I'm just dialed in with, setting this all up, getting myself all together. Yeah, dude, like, that's kind of what's been going on with me. Just build out everything. I wrote down my little notes. That last thing that I had wrong was the whole concepts thing, and that threw me off like a rock, dude. I'm telling you. It hurt, because people were like, dude, you're inconsistent and you don't know what you're looking for. Really confusing. You're confusing yourself more than you are confusing me. I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna write everything out. And so I just kind of slowly, bit by bit, writing it all out. It took longer than I expected. That's why I didn't train on Friday, but it definitely helped me out a lot. So I'm just gonna be back testing, just so I can have it for Monday. But point being, jits. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you guys besides the fact that we gotta stay strong. My new goal is, just continue holding this account. That's kind of my one main goal. Second main goal is, if I can pass it, whatever. Like, that's not what I really care about. My goal is, to utilize these concepts also that I quote unquote already know the actual right way. That's kind of my like 3 main goals and objectives for this week. Pass my accounts. You thought I was gonna flip you off. Pass my accounts. Then we're gonna look for just holding these accounts and just utilizing the concepts. But my main goal is utilizing concepts, then holding these accounts for longer, whether if it's good or bad. If it blows, it blows. I'm honestly like whatever. Like I'm working this weekend, but yeah. Just I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a blessed weekend if you guys watch this. All right, peace.